Welcome to this week's edition of Kiwi Bred. This season, breeders are spoilt for choice with an abundance of new stallions joining stud farms around the country. On the show this week, we take a look at some of the new blood. We begin with Mark Chittick at Waikato Stud, where reigning New Zealand Horse of the Year Ocean Park has stepped into his new role in the breeding barn. Ocean Park joins Waikato Stud's stellar stallion lineup. Why did he fit your selection criteria so perfectly?
We're always on the lookout for horses of that sort of calibre, or any stallions. At the end of the day, the stallions, they're hard to come about. There's a lot of competition out there, so we always have a keen eye out for what suits us. And I think over the years we've sort of developed a situation where certain stallions do fit our criteria, and that's led to the likes of O'Reilly and Pins and Savabeel, etc. And he really did fit this criteria in the sense that he was a top racehorse, he had a nice pedigree, he was a good looking horse, but the big thing, and I know you hear it from us a lot of time, he certainly had a great turn of foot. He could quicken off the speed, and I think a stallion has to have that to be able to pass it on.
He's the first horse in history to cap 4 consecutive Group 1 wins with success in the Cox Plate. You mentioned his racing abilities, which made him a serious stallion prospect. How pleasing was it to secure him for Waikato Stud?
It was a big achievement. It was a big deal, but I sort of emphasised that the horse is at Waikato Stud, but he's syndicate owned. We're the major shareholder, but it was the support of all of the major New Zealand breeders that it came about that we could secure him. So it's great to have him here, and as I say, it's great for him to be joining our lineup at the moment and taking us forward.
You mentioned he's syndicated by several of New Zealand's more prominent stud farms. How quick to support Ocean Park were they?
Yeah, incredibly quick. Once I got the deal secured with Gary Hennessy and his partners, and obviously could get on the phone, and obviously we needed their support. It happened very quickly. He was fully syndicated. In fact, over syndicated within 12 hours of starting the process. And going back to the Savabeel deal, it was structured in a very similar way, and it was sort of a day to 2 days to get it all secured and signed off. But this guy in particular, as I say, 12 hours, and it was the support of the major studs and breeders. It was incredible.
How important was securing Ocean Park for the New Zealand breeding industry?
I think that's probably the point that you make there is probably the most important point. At the end of the day, we do need horses like this coming back to New Zealand. It's difficult for us to do it with the calibre and the sort of the structure of the deal. But anyway, we got it done, and very important for us. I mean, obviously, with everything we produce in New Zealand, we punch right above our weight. They're spread throughout the whole world, but we do need the continued input of these sorts of stallions like Ocean Park.
Mark, of all his Group 1 wins, if you had to choose a standout performance on the track, which one would it be?
I suppose the most obvious one would be the Cox Plate. It was an unbelievable field, and I think in beating All Too Hard, who had a weight advantage with being a younger horse. I think when we've secured the winner of the Cox Plate in Ocean Park, and he beat All Too Hard, who's gone to stud in Australia for a lot of money, and third was Pero. I think when you're beating those sorts of horses, it's probably your obvious choice in a standout performance.
But now Ocean Park starts to wind up. All Too Hard from Ocean Park, and then came Piero. All Too Hard and Nick in front. Ocean Park stride by stride getting to the 3-year-old. Ocean Park got up to All Too Hard. They hit the line. Ocean Park wanted to hit to All Too Hard.
How's he settled in here, Mark?
Really, really well. He's got unbelievable nature. I suppose he's very worldly, well travelled and very worldly, and been in different situations. And I suppose to start with, you've got to have the right sort of horse to be able to do that with. Through a yearling career, through a racing career, etc. But so he walked off the float and just settled in amazingly well. We've had a lot of people through the farm, and every time he just walks out and does his bit, and we're loving having him around.
What's his appeal as a sire? I guess if you could talk about his pedigree.
He's by Thorne Park, who was New Zealand's champion sire, and he's left 5 Group 1 winners, so he's a very good stallion, Thorne Park. And out of his Abiel mare, who's champion broodmare sire, let alone champion sire of how many other things, freakish sire. So you've got 2 champion sires tied up there, and a wonderful family that we're very familiar with. It is mostly a Waikato Stud family, and being O'Reilly's family, which of course produced his mother Kortza, who won the Golden Slipper, and O'Reilly's granddam and Hunza that was champion Australasian 2-year-old. So it's a family we're very familiar with, and as I say, by a champion sire, and out of a mare that's by a champion sire.
Ocean Park was Australasia's highest rated 4-year-old on time form rating of 128. He's the 8th fastest galloper in the world. What attributes are you hoping he will pass on to his progeny?
Well, I think the main thing is the speed, and also with him, when you go through his races, he had massive determination and obviously a very, very big heart. And so if he passes that sort of heart and toughness and will to win onto his progeny, but the main thing being is you don't win 5 Group 1s without having a bit of speed, and he certainly had a lot of speed. So passing that on is the main thing for us. I mean, that's what we're trying to breed.
Mark, how many mares is he looking to service in this book coming up?
I think he'll serve somewhere between 130 and 140. We're not far off that at this stage, but I think 140 would certainly be enough for him in his first season. We'll be stopping him at that.
With such an impressive resume and no shortage of interest, $30,000 seems a reasonable service fee. Was ensuring Ocean Park was accessible part of your thinking when you set his fee?
I think so, and at the end of the day, when you syndicate a horse like this, obviously you have a lot of the breeders already tied into shareholding in the horse, so that does limit your outside bookings a wee bit because they're in the ownership of the horse. But certainly the demand has been fantastic from those that aren't in the syndicate, look, he's looking at serving a really, really nice book. I think the one thing about it is 30,000 gives them the access, and those that have got the investment and the share in them, they always send a nice mare because they've got quite an investment in it. So it gives the horse every opportunity.